Hello, everybody. It is time for Pictures of the Day once again. So, this episode will sort of be a bit of a throwback to Alaska again, and I guess a bit of a touching base sort of video about, I guess, the whole experience of shooting professionally for the first time ever. So, yeah, sort of a, I guess, exciting few things to talk about. So without any further ado, let's get into it. So we're going to sort of start off back in Anchorage, Alaska. This is sort of actually in between Wasilla and Anchorage, two different towns. Anchorage being sort of the bigger town of Alaska. I think for some time now it's been sort of, I guess, wanting to become the capital of Alaska. As of right now, it's Juneau, but who knows what the future may hold. I'm not sure. I don't think it'll ever really change just because of how people sort of get comfortable with how things are. So with that being said, yeah, this is coming from Wasilla to Anchorage, and I am currently in a car, of course. As you can see, I'm on the highway, and I think in this picture, my dad and I are going off to do work. So him and I sort of, I guess, ran a two-man business where so he was a trooper for about 27 years before he retired and whatnot, and after his retirement he said, I'm so bored, I can't take not doing anything anymore. So we would do this sort of consulting business where we would go to Home Depot and stores like that and buy the discounted or whatever it may be appliances, different materials and things like that, and we would ship it out to the rural communities that did not have access to like downtown stuff like the way we did. So it was very helpful for the people that we did serve, and my dad is continuing to serve while I'm over here in Arizona now. But yeah, it was quite good. We had a lot of, I guess, impact on different communities and different people's lives. Specifically, there were instances where I would sort of drop everything and rush into town and ship out like 40 cases of 40 packs of water to a village because their pipes froze, or 100, like what was it, 150-gallon dumpsters so they can have water from the town system. All their pipes were frozen. That was that one terrible winter. I think it was 2024, somewhere in there. No, actually, I think it was 2023 because 24 was just last year, and I think it was a year ago now. So, anyways, with that being said, it was quite an adventure running around trying to find these these trash cans all over town. I think I went to 5 or 6 different stores, and I think in total I only was able to find around 95-ish, and realistically our goal was just get as many as possible for as many families as possible, and we did it. So that same day I went to the airport and shipped it all out, and it sort of just worked, and everybody got what they needed, and it was a very good working experience. I think I was like out for 12, 13 hours that day getting everything put together and whatnot. And there's just so many different stories I can talk about with that job, but I could save that for another time. We'll just get onto the next picture for now. We just have another picture from the car later into the evening, or rather, I think deeper into the winter when the sun was sort of setting sooner. Wow, what alliteration I have. Anyways, so yeah, that is the power plant towards Anchorage, and if you guys were to look closely at the actual power plant itself, you could probably see it's slightly blurry. This was when I think sort of right after I'd gotten my new camera, after using a school camera before that only, and then I was sort of still figuring out how to take pictures. And I think with that being said, even in this picture, for example, the lighting was a bit dark, and I had to have a slow shutter speed, and I didn't want to bump my ISO too much up because I thought, oh, if I lower the ISO, the better picture, which isn't exactly true. Anyways, there's just a little bit of a blur right here. It's just a motion blur, but even with the roads as well if you look closer. But it don't matter. I think it looks quite nice. The just bellowing smog that was just perpetually coming out of this power plant was, that's just a thing that I grew up passing pretty regularly going from Wasilla to Anchorage, because I lived in Wasilla like 2 separate times with a little intermission in one of the villages up north. So yeah, sort of a iconic spot for myself. Here is another example of very, very low lighting, very low shutter speed, and not terrible results, realistically. I think I was very happy with how this turned out, and I still am. The way the, highway lights are almost like UFOs is what I thought when I first saw it. I was like, I need to get this ASAP, and I did. And I have several different shots and exposures of this particular scene, but this was my favorite because it has the bridge right in the middle, several cars in front of us, and yeah, the aforementioned UFO lights. I just thought, wow, aliens might be real. Not really though, but the same evening, in the sidebar of the road, there were several moose, which I did not include that picture because very rough, dark, blurry, and just not presentable pictures, but I did get them, and they are moose, and they are like right around here, but way further down. So with that being said, we'll just get onto the next picture. This is one of my buddies. His name is Colton, and this was in the Diamond Center Mall. We were sort of just dorking around. Me and a few different friends, we hadn't gotten to hang out after they all graduated. They were all a year older than I was. But yeah, he just had a very infectious laugh and a very big smile. So I took a picture of him while we were standing in a sticker and adult store almost, and it was quite a nice exposure. Oh, and also you could see the schnoz of my other friend sort of just peering in there. So I didn't even notice that until just now. So how fun going through old pictures like that. Off to the next. This is wintertime, I think around 2023 as well. My sister's hands, she recently got her traditional native tattoos. I think those are Inupiaq tattoos. And she has all her bracelets and ivory and things like that. And she really wanted me to take pictures of her hands and her newly tattooed thumbs and whatnot. And she picked up these frozen bush berries. I'm not exactly sure what kind they are. I've always been told that they were poisonous, and I used to eat them just to, spite my parents, and I'm still here, so obviously they weren't telling the truth, but the way that the ice is sort of forming around him looked pretty awesome, I think. So I think that's why she wanted to get this picture specifically, and, I'm happy we did it. It was good. Here is my old dog, Jake. He died, what was it, last Christmas time-ish? He'd gotten really sick, and it was his time. He was about 14 at the time, and this was before he sort of fell into it, but he always sort of looked a bit raggedy and whatnot. We didn't get him haircuts probably as often as we should. He certainly looked quite spiffy whenever he got buzzed down, and he had this terrible underbite. It was like such a jutting jaw, but he was a cute little handsome boy, and yeah, I miss him. This is a good picture of him sort of peering through. This was New Year's Eve, I remember, because we were having fireworks in the neighborhood, and he was sort of hiding away from it, so that's why he's doing what he's doing. Next, we have a picture from a little snow-blown hill in my backyard. So, as you can see, I'm slightly elevated. We have a fence, or rather had this fence. This fence got blown over. I think we had 90-mile-an-hour winds. Just utterly destroyed every side of the fence. Like, boom, wall knocked down, knocked down, the whole back was blown out. So anyways, before that happened, I was sort of just sitting atop a huge snow pile, similar to this right here, but there was much more of a hill in the corner to where the snow would build up more. And it was like a nice sledding hill. And I sort of just sat up there and took this picture of the sun peering over the back of our house, which, man, the backs of houses look so plain and boring. I can't believe it. It's just a flat wall with several windows poked into it. So, blah, blah, blah. We're now into Sitka. Here is, obviously you can't tell that it's in Sitka as of right now, but this is in the Sub, which is a hangout area in my old boarding school that I went to. And yeah, we had popcorn Fridays, and I think this was also a chili free food Friday. It was a night where we would come to the Sub, and the person who ran it would make us food for free. It was just sort of a communal dorm thing to sort of promote healthy activity between students and whatnot. So it worked pretty good, I think. And it was quite nice to get free grilled cheeses and chili and whatever else he might have made during that time. So here's just a picture of some chili and some popcorn. Did I skip one? No, oops. There we go. This is a shot from, I think it's still in Sitka, of course. This is going towards True Valley, which was a place my previous girlfriend worked at. And I was on my way to go see her. And this fellow, it was pouring rain at that time. He was, maybe not pouring, but it was quite wet. It usually was in Sitka. It's a rainforest in Alaska, which is quite interesting to me. But anyways, he was just sort of walking, and the way he was almost silhouetted by the light, and he just like a black figure in the picture. I enjoyed that a lot. So I snapped a few different shots, and this was the best one that came out. And I really just like this composition. It's very moody. I think him being perfectly almost in the center of the, I guess, street. Well, maybe not so, but anyways, I just think it's cool. And I don't think I have to justify it, other than the fact I don't. I lied. I don't have to do anything. There we go. So, that's me playing the saxophone. I was a bari sax player all throughout the last 3 years of high school. I did not start playing for my freshman year because we didn't have a music program then, and my digital storytelling teacher, out of anybody else, like, who would you expect to do that? She was a very musically inclined person, and she was very enthusiastic about getting a program started back up. So she was sort of on the hunt for people that might have played in the past, that have had interest in playing, just that sort of thing. And she found out that I played the saxophone in middle school, and she was like, we need to do something together. I was like, okay. So her and I sort of built up a musical program, and I know I got one of my buddies to join in. He played the trumpet until he switched over to the tenor saxophone. And yeah, it was sort of just the start of the musical program after not having one for who knows how long. It was, I'd say, years. And the only real musical program that they had was Music 2, which wasn't exactly an orchestra band or anything like it. It was just kids that just so happened to play music getting together basically for a free credit, and they would play sort of rock music and things like that. And I remember there was this one girl, and she sucked at the drums, and she just was invading every musical class, and she just kept on playing the drums, and she did not belong. But somebody took her spot later on, but oh my goodness, rough, very rough start. She did not understand how to count music. Anyways, with that being said, just a cool picture of my saxophone. This was a brand new saxophone that I got for me. It was really cool, but I didn't buy it. It was a school. But they were like, oh yeah, we need a new saxophone that's ours, because we were borrowing from the school across the bridge. And yep, this was the one. It was quite good. Here's a banana boat. So Sitka is a island town, so it's two islands connected to a bridge, or connected by a bridge rather. So it's very big on fishing, very big on boating and things like that. And my aforementioned girlfriend and I were walking around the docks, and we saw this cool little banana boat. And I just thought it was so neat because I'm the banana man. I think I should probably bring up that whole story, but that'll be another time. Anyways, very cool boat. I was very enamored by it, and I just had to take a picture. It was just not negotiable. It was right there, and I had to do it. Nextly, we just have a light bulb. After some pretty decent rain in Sitka, there were a few different trees lining the sidewalk going towards the dormitory, and they would have these lights sort of strung up in it. And I always thought that looked really nice, especially in the nighttime where it was just like almost a guiding light back to the dorms. And this is just one of the light bulbs, or several, but one in focus. And here is another picture in Sitka. There are the mountains. I think they're called the Three Sisters. I can't remember the exact name other than that. That's sort of like, I guess, the jokey name of it. And yeah, there's just crazy sun cutting through everything. It was very beautiful that day, and I had several days exactly like that. It was very, very nice in Sitka, and the way that like almost the hazy fog on the clouds, it was just a nice picture. And I know right here is probably slightly overexposed, maybe, but over here and just sort of the whole picture in general, I think it's quite cool. Here's a very sad dog that I was just walking around downtown, I think on my own this time around, and yeah, this dog was just in the car waiting for whoever it may be to come and, let him out. Bro was stuck, and it was quite a neat picture to grab. It was just like so somber, and I felt bad for the dog. Speaking of dogs, here's another one, a bit in better spirits, I'd say. It's a golden retriever sort of riding the wind. It was going across the bridge, actually, that I mentioned a moment ago. And yeah, I saw that there was a dog sticking its head out the window, and I was walking towards town to go get pictures, and I said, "Oh, there's a picture right there." And I got it right as I was walking across, so that was really good. And here are some ravens. Soon enough, I think I will do a bird-oriented episode where I go over quite a few birds. Too many birds, probably. So that'll be certainly something to, I guess, be ready for. But yeah, something that I really enjoyed in Sitka were all the ravens that would hang out around the dorms. I think that they would be there because the students would feed them, which we're probably not supposed to do, but that's besides the point, I think. And yeah, they were just very inquisitive and curious animals, and they would just hang out with us, and I would throw cheese and grapes at them. So I was part of the problem. Anyways, I have pictures of them with grapes and cheese and whatever else we might have thrown at them in their mouths, or their beaks rather. So that will be later. And all the different kinds of birds. There's a raptor center in Sitka, and I got quite a few pictures over there. So that will probably be its own thing as well. So let's just get on to the next one. Here's a bee, and that was I guess that is my ex-girlfriend now. And yeah, that is a bee that I had crocheted for her. It took me, I don't know, about 2 months or so to get it figured out. I've never crocheted anything before at that time, and I haven't since then. But it was a labor of love, and I thought, despite its lopsidedness and its messed up wings and its kind of derpy looking face, it turned out pretty alright. And I think she even still has it to this day. So, it stood the test of time, and it's immortalized in this neat little picture. And here's just a dirty slug bug. I like grit and I like grime. Not like personally on myself, but when it comes to a picture, it makes for some great, I guess, emotion for the picture. So yeah, this sort of dirtied up slug bug really was calling to me while I was walking around downtown. And yeah, I think if this was monochrome, it would maybe look a little bit cooler, but I think there is merit to having it just in color as well. Like sometimes you don't have to make it even more so like you could just have it like this. So I did. And then, okay, so here we're back to Arizona actually. And this will be where I sort of geek out about my cool experience that I had 2 days ago. Or maybe it was, no, yeah, it was 2 days ago. So I've mentioned it several times before now, I think in at least two of the 2 episodes that I have, where this guy called me after not speaking for about a month. We like traded info, and then he was like, dude, it's time. And we sort of assembled downtown, and oh my goodness, I think it took around 5,000, 6,000 pictures ish. So quite an outing, and it was just phenomenal. I had such a great time. I had a lot of fun. I was paid for it, so that was really cool. I really did, I'd say, a pretty good job. Out of the, I think the exact number is 5,343 pictures, if I remember correctly, and right around, what, 770 pictures were good. So I think that's a pretty good return rate, especially since it's digital. There's no film involved. I don't have anything disposable. It's just basically for free. And I have a big old SD card. It's like 512 gigabytes. So I'm not worried about overshooting and whatnot. It's just a bit of a hassle getting through all the pictures, like looking through them and picking the best ones. But this was shot with a cinema lens, actually, that I finally figured out why I wasn't able to use it or utilize it correctly. There was a corrective lens on the front of it, which I didn't realize was screwed on to it. I thought that was just like a lens protector, but no, it was actually a warped lens, and it ruined the focusing power of that lens. So I couldn't focus to infinity. I think the farthest I could be was about 2 or 3 feet away, and that was it. So I have several attempts of myself like trying to get different video of that, and I think I will include that in the days where I took those pictures and took those videos. So I think I'll do that in the next episode. But anyways, back to the picture at hand. We started right here. This was before he had showed up. He had been a little bit late for the whole thing, and I know that it was, what was it, about 20 minutes late, I'd say, because we were supposed to start at 3:30, and he was not there until about 3:50, and then we started at 4. So right over there, I saw it as I was sitting waiting outside, and I thought, oh wow, this would be a cool picture to see him walking across these pillars. And we didn't exactly get that picture because I guess there was not exactly a lack of communication per se, but I think we had some misinterpretations. I think I could have been more clear about where I wanted to be for that picture in relation to him, but that was okay. We worked with what we had, and I think despite everything, we got some pretty great pictures, and I won't be sharing all too many of those, I don't think, without his permission, because those are sort of his sessions, pictures and whatnot. But I think I will do a single picture for the thumbnail, and it's a picture of him doing a jump between sort of a fence and a dumpster, and it turned out quite cool. He was wearing a crown. He had all these different costumes. He had all these different outfits sort of in the back of his car ready for the shoot. It was very cool. He was quite a stylish fellow. And yeah, we went all over downtown. I got so many different pictures of him and his dog and him doing all these funny poses and whatnot. And yeah, that was quite the experience, and I can't wait to do it again. He already wants to like schedule his next session with me, and I'm getting paid 25 an hour. 25 an hour. That's crazy. That's awesome. I never thought I'd be able to get that much for my pictures, or at least that much for my time for pictures, but I'm doing it, and it's quite cool. And the cooler part is, I think he's also going to pay me for going through the pictures as well, because that is a task upon itself. Oh my goodness, it took me about 2.5 hours to sift through and pick the best photos and whatnot and sort of collect them in one spot, and it was, it was a task, and it was good. I enjoyed myself seeing all the different shots that I did or didn't get, and I was like, wow, these are really good. And it sort of was I don't know, just a good experience being able to see that my pictures are good. And I think the last picture, yep, right here, is this. What is it called? I think it's a ptarmigan, not a ptarmigan. It's one of the birds of Arizona, and it is. I'll pop the name on the screen right here. Boom! You see that? I can edit now. Anyways, this bird was on a mural with some oranges, and I thought, wow, what a pretty blue in comparison to that sky, and I think it turned out pretty good. And yeah, that's sort of the video, I suppose. There is definitely more that I could be talking about, and oh my god, I don't know if you guys have noticed, but I'm pretty alright with talking for minutes on end. This video is probably about half an hour. Anyways, with that all being said, I think that I will try my best to sort of cut off videos or trim them down a little bit just so they're not a slog fest. But I think outside of the pictures, I think it's sort of, I guess, a story time talking about my life channel now as well. So, it's kind of cool. And I think I can do whatever I want. So I think what I'll do is not even worry about it, dog. So with that being said, I think I'm going to end this video here. And I'm going to go, I think, eat dinner. It's right about that time, and I got to get ready for my morning shift. So hope you guys enjoyed these pictures, and I will see you next time, probably tomorrow. Bye-bye.